right thing. Lord, just keep in mind those that are sick and not able to take care of themselves. And Lord, just guide us through this meeting that we can make the right decisions and carry on. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I
To
salute
the flag of the state of New Mexico, is the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Amen.
Thank you, Commissioner. Oh, yeah. All right, I'll entertain a motion for the approval of agenda.
I'll make the motion, we approve the agenda as submitted. Well, I guess we got these. I guess we don't have to approve this one. I don't think it's on here. With the corrections of this being added with Jay. Payables. Yes. Yes.
Well, there's a correction, an updated correction of the account payables
That's correct.
that Gary just passed out to us. Okay, any discussion other than that? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'll entertain a motion for consideration of the regular meeting minutes of February 13th, 2017.
I'll make that motion.
The second.
We have a second. Any discussion? No discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, now we'll go to commissioners and staff report. Mr. White.
I have nothing to report at this time, sir.
Okay, very good, thank you. Gary.
I'll just say what I have related to the budget for the meeting, if I
Okay.
may, Your Honor.
Very good. Ms. Anna?
Nothing to report.
Okay. Commissioner Sanchez?
I'd like to thank our city commissioners for this trip we had to Santa Fe. We really enjoyed it and had a little better relationship with the commissioners. I hadn't traveled with them before, but I did today, this weekend. It was great. I heard some great stories, and I gained a lot of weight, so it's good. It is good.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Butcher?
I just would like to get Jake to give us an update on the pool. I know he informed us that the pool was, I drove by and it's full, stuff's floating around. I was ready to dive in, but it's just a little too cold.
Yes, sir, Mayor and Commissioners. They did, the company came in, drained the pool, washed it, and of course replastered the entire pool. So they filled it back up, getting the pumps working and the chemicals regulated. The next step is to replace the sidewalk that was removed to fix the leak on that intake for the pool pump. So we actually have a meeting tomorrow to look at a couple of different issues out there in relation to that, but we are scheduled to be opened up on time.
Very good. And speaking of the municipal league, of course we're up there as well, but the outlook right now is pretty bleak in the state, as we all know. The schools are getting hit probably harder than anybody else, and there's some bills out there from the House and the Senate that are going to affect a lot of folks, a lot of organizations, hospitals as well. So just keep track of that if you can, because it might affect all of us in the end. So very interesting dilemma they have right now, but nobody has the perfect answer. There is no perfect answer, but we'll just keep on trucking as we go along. All right. Commissioner Rio.
I'm good to go, thank you.
All right. Commissioner Gandy.
I do not have anything.
Okay. Chief Rodriguez.
Nothing to report today.
All right, very good. Chief, number 2.
Nothing to report.
All right. James?
No, nothing, sir.
Very good. And Patrick? All right, very good. Thank you. All right. We'll go into public comment. Anybody that wishes to address the commission at this time may do so. If you'll limit your communication to about 3 minutes, you may get up and speak now. All right. Seeing that nobody steps up to the podium, we'll go into non-action items, the discussion of fiscal year 2017-2018 budget schedule. James.
Mayor, Commissioners, actually, I'm going to turn this over to Gary.
All right, very good, thank you.
As you can see by your mayor and commission, as you can see by our report, we have a schedule planned for finishing our budget and of course submitting it to the state before our June 1st deadline. Naturally, we want to include you in the budget, so we have to plan some days that we would meet together, and we're looking right now at the week of April 17th and then also the week of April 24th as well as now the 24th is we have a regular commission meeting on the 24th, April the 24th, but if we need to, we could plan another one. But I wanted to see if we had any time available that we could set aside for a special budget session the week of April 17th.
All right, very good. Anything else, Gary?
No, at this point, I'm just saying that we're preparing, getting ourselves prepared so that we'll have all the department heads able to share our proposed budgets with you by that point.
Okay, very good.
So are you wanting a date today?
No, we don't have to have the date today.
Just let us know right here, I guess, March, late March, if it's still staying. Oh, yeah, because we still have to make it a public,
Yes, sir.
so 2 weeks before, I guess.
Mayor and Commissioners, we're like last year ahead of the game, I guess you would say, as far as scheduling. So we just ask that you leave April 17th open and flexible. I guess either Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday is when we would have that meeting in the evening and set aside a couple of hours.
All right. Anything else, Gary?
No, sir.
All right, very good. Now we'll go into a specific public hearing regarding New Mexico Regulation and Licensing Department, Alcohol and Gaming Division issuance of small brewer license with on-premises consumption, package sales, and patio service for Drylands Brewing Company, Limited Liability Corporation. At this time, if anybody wants to get up and address the commission regarding this specific topic, you may do so at this time. All right, seeing nobody has stepped up to the podium, there's no one to address the commission, it appears to be. We'll go into action items at this time.
I'll make the motion, we consider resolution 2017-18, local approval of Drylands Brewery Company, LLC, small brewer liquor license application.
Second.
All right, we have a second. James.
Mayor, Commissioners, Drylands Brewing Company, we have Mr. Arreola and Mr. Torres both here tonight. They have applied through the state of New Mexico to get their small brewer license to operate Drylands Brewing Company at the corner of Main and Jefferson. At this point, it is required by the state that this be subjected to the public hearing, and then we vote to either approve it or not approve it. And with these licenses, by the time we get to this point, there's only really a certain number or certain things that can deny a license, which the state has not found. The fact that we have the waiver from the church and also the waiver granted by the city commission didn't eliminate them from having the ability to obtain this liquor license. So at this point, it would just take your vote and this resolution, and copy of the meeting minutes will be submitted to Santa Fe.
All right. I just have a question, and maybe Mr. Arreola can answer that for us. Any issues from the state, Andres? You want to come up?
No, not at all.
If you would go ahead and identify yourself.
We submitted everything, Andres Arriola,
Very good.
and we submitted everything that we needed to.
Okay.
Everything came back, no questions. We had to make sure we're going to put a 3-foot barrier on the patio, and that was pretty much it. And they wanted to have pictures of of like samples of the actual patio, so we did that, and no problem.
Okay. All right, very good. Any other questions from the commission?
I've got a question.
Yes, sir.
Have you got the funding to do this project?
The
Have
funding,
you got the funding to do the project?
yeah, it's being built right now.
You've got the funding to finish it out.
Mhm. Yes, sir.
Good question, I guess, huh? Get the money to do this?
It's too late.
Yeah, too late.
Yeah, it's too late to
All right.
pull out.
And I do, but, I noticed, you know, when at the beginning, you know, we was having, you know, that was considered like in a flood zone. Like, y'all have got it set back enough now to
Mhm.
where that's gonna resolve that problem, or?
Yeah, originally it was 15 feet up, and according to some rule or law, we had to move it back another 15 feet.
The bricks look very nice, by the way.
Thank you.
All right.
And we found a brewer, so we hired a brewer from Maine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, very good.
We had him fly at night so he wouldn't see anything. We hooked him in the morning at the hotel, and he agreed, so.
Oh, okay. So he doesn't know where he's at, is that what
No,
you're saying?
pretty much.
All right, thank you, Andres.
Uh-huh.
Appreciate it. All right, any other discussion by the commission? All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I abstain.
Okay, very good. Do we need a roll call on that?
I think it'd be proper.
Okay. On it, roll call, please.
Commissioner Sanchez,
I abstain.
Commissioner Butcher,
Yes.
Commissioner Keel,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
and Mayor Conkles.
Yes. Right. Motion passes. I'll entertain another motion.
I make a motion to consider resolution 2017-19, Metropolitan Redevelopment Area Designation, making certain findings and determinations pursuant to the Metropolitan Redevelopment Code and designating the city of Lovington Metropolitan Redevelopment Area.
Second.
We have a second. James.
Mayor and Commissioners, one of the projects that Lovington Main Street's working on is an update of our downtown master plan. It's been almost 10 years since that document was completed. There's been changes, positive changes in the downtown area. Part of the update to this is to look at our metropolitan redevelopment area, which a metropolitan redevelopment area, it's a certain section in the state code that actually allows for identifying areas to be what they call blighted, and it provides us as a municipality some additional tools, access to funding for improvement of infrastructure in the downtown area. Also, the property owners, it provides them tools as well. In evaluating that, our current MRA, actually it starts out at Avenue D and goes north to Jefferson, and runs east and west. Right now it goes over to First Street, and actually between Eddy and East Street. Includes the downtown courthouse. With this as well, we have what's called a tax increment financing district, or TIF. This actually is not an increase in tax. What this does is it establishes the base rate, and then every year as the assessed value goes up, the increase in that assessed value, it actually goes into a restricted fund that we would have access to for the next roughly 20 years for improvements in infrastructures in that downtown area. With the current makeup of this district, we have about, with the existing one, I think it was 106 properties in the downtown area. It's not generating very much. This is not a tax increase. It does not cost the taxpayer any additional money other than what your regular assessed value, property value increases. So one of the things that we're looking at as part of this downtown master plan is to expand those boundaries, which it's kind of hard to see, but you should have on your tablets a picture of this. This would actually incorporate, I guess you would say, the southwest border would be the intersection of 2nd and Avenue D. The existing boundary on the south, it would change, it would move a little bit further to the east to incorporate the new judicial complex, follow Eddy Street all the way up to Polk and Eddy, and then it would jog over to incorporate Love Street all the way up to West Birch. This would increase the ability along the Main Street corridor for some of these properties that are vacant or undeveloped, give us more tools. So this is step one of updating our downtown master plan, and we would stand for any questions the commission may have.
All right, any questions, discussion by the commission?
And so that doesn't throw like a damper on, the businesses are included in that, right? Not just the property owners themselves, homeowners?
Correct, no, correct. This would include all properties.
I got one question.
Yes, sir.
What about those big old tanks there on the Denver City Highway, right on Eddy Street, right?
The old grain silos?
Those big old silos?
Yes, sir.
Are we gonna do something with those?
That, I would need to check with the owner of the property, find out their intentions.
I mean, it's kind of like an eyesore really, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
All right, any other discussion? Okay. All in favor of accepting this resolution, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I'll entertain the next motion, please.
I'd like to make a motion to consider resolution 2017-20, authorizing and approving submission of a completed application for financial assistance and project approval to Mexico Finance Authority.
Second.
We have a second. All right, very good. Mr. James.
Mayor Commissioners, this resolution will allow us to submit to the Finance Authority an application for a grant, $50,000 worth of funding. Developing this plan, it's a specialized skill set. The last plan, I honestly can't remember who developed it, but this is very similar to the same process that we utilize for the city's comprehensive plan. But this would be a grant we would receive through NMFA, and we would be reimbursed after the expenditure of the $50,000.
Is the availability an annual process?
You are limited, actually, Mayor, Commissioners, you're limited on the number of times you can apply over, I want to say it's a 5-year period.
Okay.
You're limited to 2. However, we've been reassured by our Main Street contacts that this is a separate grant that does not impact our ability to apply for further funding through NMFA. One of our other projects in which we were going to get NMFA funding through was for our Industrial Park Master Plan, which that is currently in process.
All right, very good. Any other questions, comments? All right. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I'll entertain the next motion.
I'd like to make a motion to consider resolution 2017-21, appointment to the Lovington Library Board. Second.
We have a second. All right, James.
Mayor and Commissioners, the Library Board, per our city code, is set up a little bit different than how we normally appoint individuals to different boards. In this case, the actual board can make a recommendation to reappoint sitting members, and they provide that to the City Commission. And in the event that the City Commission does not want to reappoint those individuals, then they would need to submit 3 names per vacancy for the Commission to consider at the next meeting. However, this board has made the recommendation that Judge David Finger and Karen Dickens be reappointed to the Library Board.
All right. Do we need to change our motion in order to reflect that reappointment?
Actually, with the way the resolution is written right now, I believe you would be safe to adopt it as is.
All right. Any issues, any concerns? Everybody okay with that, the reappointments? All right, very good. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I'll entertain the next motion.
Make a motion, we consider resolution 2017-22, memorandum of understanding between the City of Lovington and the Lee County Sheriff Department
Second.
Office.
We have a second, James. Or Chief, I guess.
All this is an agreement for the Sheriff's Office to deputize us as a special deputy in order for us to continue assisting in Howland County.
That's already in place, correct?
It was with the old sheriff
Okay.
since they reappointed somebody else that has to be redone.
Okay, I see. All right. How often do you gotta go out into the county? Not very often?
It depends on the day. There's sometimes that they don't have anybody available in this area, and they'll call for assistance, mutual aid to go out there and assist them
Okay.
until they are able to get there.
All right, very good. All right, any other questions, discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. I'll entertain another motion.
Make the motion to consider accounts payable.
Second.
We have 2 seconds. Okay, Commissioner Trujillo. Gary?
Yes, your mayor and commission, in this particular payables list, our single largest expense would be on the second page, and that would be with the Pipeline Solutions Incorporated for $6,850. And anticipating that it may be one that you have a question for, I asked our Public Works Director for a little insight on it, if you'd like to share it.
We utilize this company. They're the same company that actually puts some isolation valves, I believe 2014 budget year on our tanks, our water towers, so we can isolate the towers. We requested them to come in and put a Insta valve on our 8-inch main line in Washington, in between Love and Main. We're getting ready for the judicial complex utility project, so we can isolate the line so they can replace in Love Street. So we have a brand new line in place for that concrete walkway. So this was just a step ahead, replacing one of the valves that we need to make sure that the line is shut down.
Do you have any other questions?
Yes, sir. Tell me about Tyler Technologies. We're still paying them $900 some odd dollars. What is that about?
That's a good question. With Tyler Technologies, we're still at a lot of the implementation process, and we get regular billing from them basically every month for specific areas that they're working on. So if I remember correctly, this one was related to our code enforcement application with Intergov, and a little bit of what they're doing there to incorporate Intergov with Encode itself. I don't know all the details as to why they needed to do this. I just know they sent us a bill for it, and I got the okay from Crystal to verify that they really provided us this service.
Did you do some follow-up on that and find out why they're asking us to pay for all this? And second question is, how are they working out for us?
Well, at this time, we're not fully implemented with the Encode software. The utility billing aspect of it, the utility software, seems to be doing very well for us. I really like it. And it's has some more user-friendly features on it, icons versus having to read through menus, and quicker access to, for example, information about a person's account versus having to do a couple of other little searches. So in that respect, we're making some good progress, and I do like it.
I'm just concerned about the additional cost as you know, on a monthly basis, whatever the case is, because I know that's how they produce revenue, I guess you could say. Commissioner Sanchez, you had a question?
Yeah, I was gonna, so who would know? You said you didn't quite exactly know, so who would know about this?
Oh, just the one area that I was discussing was specific to planning and zoning, in our code enforcement. And it's really a small part of the big picture. I didn't do more than just ask them, hey, was this something you were expecting? Were they doing this for us? And I'd gotten a yes. And of course, I always expect the different departments to give us a purchase order so that we know that what's happened has been approved and delivered to the departments. But on the big picture, we're still working on the full implementation of the software into the city. And so these are just steps in that direction.
So after this is done, they got implemented, is it gonna be an ongoing charge?
There will be annual fees that we pay to Encode just for the use of the hosting environment with the software, and then also like a maintenance contract kind of thing. If we ever have any issues, we can call for service and have someone respond and help us through any issues that we may have. So those will be 2 ongoing costs that we'll have.
I understand that. I'm concerned about the monthly fees that they're also assessing us.
Yes, right now during the
That's my
implementation, Yeah.
When are you looking at going on complete implementation with this?
I actually had a conversation with our implementation head with Encode this last Tuesday, and she explained to me that with this final phase of what we're doing, she needed to have a discussion with another member of this little implementation team, and would not be able to really discuss anything with that person for another week. So I'm not going to know for at least another week.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
On the final page, Gary, so how safe is this? Have you come across any issues of being it unsafe where somebody can hack into our records right there and due to, I'm just saying, you got a second party, tapping into, upgrades and so forth. How are we protected, like, in that sense? Is there any, James, is there any? I see you.
Well, in regards to the safety of our information, at this time, what we have is all centralized here at the city, and we use our own mainframe. Once we go completely live with Encode, we're going to be in a hosted environment, so we're going to be using the web to connect to their servers, to their computers. And there's a couple of positive reasons for that. One, if there's ever a disaster locally, we have a tornado or a major flood, our data is safe somewhere else in a separate location. And that's actually an audit requirement, that we show some kind of security of our data. The other side of that is because of the type of connections we have. Of course, we have the usual secure website connections that you'd have, say, logging into your bank account. And that's about as safe as it gets. It's really not going to be much different than that. So to say that it's foolproof, I doubt it. However, we're a public entity, and most people can request information to be given to them. There's very little that we would have on that server that would really be private and subject to, say, HIPAA laws.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Gary. Would you just mind following up on that and then just express that there's some concern there about these reoccurring costs, since we've already paid a lot of money to them.
Yeah.
All right, any other discussion by the commission? All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, very good. And that concludes our meeting. Almost an